Hey, everybody. Welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Christy Brower, here with my co-host, sister, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's
Hey,
it
how's it
going?
going?
Good. Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I've been on the hunt today.
Oh,
We have a family recipe for a huckleberry cheesecake. And if you guys
yes.
have never had huckleberries, well, then you probably don't live in the mountains. But
Probably not in the Northwest.
yep, and we always pick huckleberries in the summer and save them for huckleberry cheesecake for the holidays because that's what our grandma did. All our grandmas did.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the pie glaze you use is Danish dessert,
Mm-hmm.
and that has gotten nearly impossible to find.
Right, because it's an old thing. It's
Mhm,
not. It's not really Jell-O. It's kind of a pie glaze,
mhm,
and
and
it's a
I
cooked pie glaze.
tried to use Jell-O to make it into a pie glaze recently, and it was a freaking disaster. It was terrible and a horrible waste and
Oh.
abuse of precious huckleberries.
That's the
So
thing, you save them for the holidays because that's about all you've got is
oh, yeah.
enough.
Well, you can pick all day and get a few cups. I mean, it's
Oh my gosh.
it's big doings.
Yeah.
They're tiny, you know? So anyway, but finally, third store, we finally found Danish dessert. I bought enough to get through at least the holidays, maybe a little more because, good Lord. Anyway,
Yeah.
so success.
Well, that's good. I'm excited. I know I've gone looking for it before too and realized that there might come a time when you have to actually order it online because stores just don't carry it as much as they used to.
Someone dropped the ball because I was supposed to order it online. You can get it on Amazon,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
forgot. And one of the kids said today, "You ordered that, right?" And I went, "Oh, no."
No.
No, I did not.
I am in so much trouble.
Mhm. But we found it, so all is well. So, serious first
Oh,
world
good.
problems here, but,
Well, it's important though when it comes to the holidays, you have your stuff you make. You gotta have it.
I'm amazed with our kids how much, like, this stuff that they see as a tradition, and sometimes it's things that I'm like, "That's a tradition we have? We've done that, like, twice." And they're like, "No, we always do that." But,
Mhm.
yeah, and then this is one of those traditions that,
But
you can't screw
huckleberry
this up.
cheesecake has been I mean, that's
Mhm,
generations and generations in our
mhm.
family.
Oh, yeah. When our
I'm
grandma
jealous.
died
I won't get any this year.
I
Sad.
know. When our grandma died, she died in June, so it was not anywhere near picking huckleberry season, and some very
Oh.
sweet cousins of ours showed up to the luncheon with sheet pans of huckleberry cheesecake.
Oh, it
It
was
was
the
so
sweetest.
sweet. Yeah, I will never forget how kind that was, and they were
Yeah.
like, "We knew you guys would want this, and this is our best memory of Aunt Betty," and it was just so
Mhm.
sweet kind of them. Yeah.
Oh, it was. It was very sweet. Yeah, because that was the thing, man. If you were gonna have something really good, grandma was an excellent cook, but this was the big thing. And
Mhm.
it was such a special thing because you only got it once or twice a year.
Mhm. Well, and I just marveled at the fact that they had huckleberries in their freezer.
Right?
Because the
Some
huckleberries come on
That's impressive.
in August, so those were a
Mm.
year old and they still
They
had
they
some,
hadn't
which
been making them, I
never
guess.
happened at my house, yeah,
Mm-mm. No. No, no, no. Yeah. I hear
but
you.
anyway, so there you go, I'm fine.
Well, cool. Well, good. I'm excited. I'm glad
And
you
how
get
are
your
you
your
feeling?
I am doing okay. I'm working on the coronavirus here, and every day is a little different and weird. I don't know, have this weird feeling like I feel like I could lift a car at the same time that I feel like I've been beat with a crowbar.
Mhm.
Someone suggested to me that that might actually be from the antibody infusion that I had on Sunday.
Yeah.
That might be what's creating this weird, like, high energy feeling.
Well, yeah, you've got all those little soldiers in there going to town.
I guess so, because yeah, I do feel kind of strange that way. Although we will benefit from it in a great way because yesterday I put all of that energy into building us a brand new website for
Yes, you
True Crime
did.
Paranormal. Yeah,
Mhm.
we try to share our links and we try to, get case suggestions and stuff like that. And it's gotten hard because we have so much and we have so many
Mhm.
suggestions and they're in so many different places. And so I built us a brand new, beautiful website. Please go
Mhm.
visit it. It is called truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com. You can watch all our shows there. You can listen to all our shows there. You can also just click a link to go where you need to go to get a reading with me or with Katie. You
Mhm.
can just click a link to go pick up a t-shirt because we do have merch.
Yep.
And you can click a link to go check out our Patreon and see if you would like to sponsor us on Patreon, where you get extra bonus content. There are extra shows over there that nobody's seen unless you sponsor us. They're the only people that have seen them and heard them.
Yeah.
And so you can join our newsletter, and we're going to start sending out some updates and some things, like if we're going to do a series on something, we're going to let you know it's coming, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And at the bottom of the page is a little form you can fill out to suggest a case. We love case suggestions. Please send us unsolved cases because that's what we do.
Mhm.
And if you have sent us a case and we haven't covered it yet, please send it there. We're going to ask that all case suggestions now go through our website
Yeah.
because they're on social media. They're in all our YouTube comments. They're in our DMs. It's getting hard to keep track of them. And we love doing suggested cases. We're actually doing one today. And we wanted to make it easier for everybody. So if we haven't covered something you wanted us to cover and it's an unsolved case, please go send us a message at our website and you can tell us what you want us to do.
Yep.
And then it'll be all organized together in one inbox, and it'll be so easy for us to keep track and do those cases because we love doing the cases you guys
Yeah.
suggest.
Absolutely.
And just go
Yep.
check out the website because it's cool. I'm
It's
just going to
great.
toot my own horn for a minute. It turned out
Oh,
really good.
you did a fantastic job. It looks so
Thank you.
good.
I've built
It's
quite a few
so
websites, but I think
user-friendly.
this is the best one I've ever done.
Uh-huh. It's
And
great.
I was on COVID brain the whole time, so I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not sure what that means. Is it better? No, it's not. It's not better to have coronavirus. It is not.
Overall, I'm gonna say nah.
Yeah. Well, let's get to this case. So this is a case
Yeah.
that was requested by a listener, so thank you. And this is the case of Roseann Marie Stone Pleasant. Now, she's been missing since roughly October 1st, 1992 from Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
There's not a lot about her, and there's not a lot about this case except for on, like, the Doe Network and, the Charlie Project, some of those, and I'll tell you why, and this just burns me, and it makes me angry, and it's one reason why I wanted to do this case and talk about it is because she was known to be a sex worker and to have a problem with drugs at the time that she disappeared. And it does seem as though women in a situation like that just sort of become a throwaway. There isn't even a wiki on her and on her disappearance. I mean, I don't think anybody tried very hard at all to find her. And she's been missing since 1992.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about her, and then let me tell you about what happened to her daughter. And this is why this is horrifying to me, that no one pays any attention, because now there's a child who's also dead in this
Yeah.
situation.
Oh, wow.
So let me tell you what the bit that we know. This is a cold read for Katie. And so, Katie, I'm going to tell you what we know, and then why don't you read it for us and tell us what you think happened.
Okay.
She was last seen at a convenience store in Spokane, Washington on September 29th of 1992. So somewhere between September 29th and October 1st is when they believe that she went missing.
Okay.
First or second sentence of every single thing I have read points out that she was involved in prostitution and drugs.
Yeah.
Before they say anything else about her, like, for example, that she had a daughter who was 9. No,
Oh,
not 9. No, 2.
2.
2 at the time that she went missing. A 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Way more important than the
That
prostitution and the
How
drugs.
many times have we seen the victims being villainized? And it's just, it is permission to law enforcement, it's permission to society to not care.
Yeah, it is, and it makes me really angry. And that's why we're going to cover more of these cases, and we're going to talk about these situations, because
Mhm.
this is not right,
No.
especially when I tell you what happened to her little girl. Now, a few months prior to Roseann going missing, a friend of hers had been shot and killed, who was also a prostitute.
Okay.
Scary. So a week before she went missing or disappeared, she called her brother in Arizona and said that she was concerned for her safety and that she was planning to move south, which I think meant toward him, because she was in Washington, he was in Arizona, with 3 of her 4 children. And then about a week later, she disappeared. For a while, it was thought that she might have been the victim of a serial killer, because serial killer had been active in that time frame in Spokane who was killing prostitutes. That's really all we know about any investigation into her death at all. So 9 years later, in October of 1999, Roseanne's daughter, Valerie, disappears.
Oh,
She had been living with her father, Brad Jackson, who was Roseanne's boyfriend at the time of her disappearance.
okay.
They had a difficult relationship. I shouldn't say that. They had an abusive relationship. He was arrested for hitting her. They broke up after Valerie's birth. They were kind of still around each other. He was granted custody, and she was given supervised visitation at the time. Again, he was an abuser, but he got custody.
Right.
So she disappeared a week before Valerie turned 2.
Mm-hmm.
So Brad and Valerie lived with Brad's parents and were living with Brad's parents when she disappeared in 1999. Brad said that she had vanished from the front yard of their home. The police didn't believe him. They didn't believe him at all. And they put a GPS tracker on his truck and followed him for a while until he actually went to the burial site and they found Valerie's remains.
Yep.
He was arrested and charged with murdering her. He claimed she died from an accidental overdose of Paxil, which is an antidepressant that she had been prescribed for behavioral problems. She was 9. And by the way,
Who the hell would put a 9-year-old on Paxil?
Paxil was not approved for children. I'm not sure it
Oh.
even still is approved. I'm not sure that it is now. He says that she
have a prescription. Like, was that verified? We don't know.
I don't know. There's so little here about the actual verification of the actual investigation. I will say that there was blood on her bedding and there was pubic hair of his on her bed.
Oh.
So yeah, that sounds like an overdose, right?
Yeah.
Ugh. So he says that he panicked and tried to conceal her death and buried her. The police believed that he actually smothered her, and he was convicted of murdering her and was sentenced to 56 years in prison, which...
why wasn't he investigated for killing Roseanne?
Well, it was pretty much always the belief that he did, but it just didn't seem that anybody gave a damn enough to even know.
He did, and I don't think she's buried all that far away from where her daughter was buried.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why he killed, or not why he, but when he killed the daughter, this had already worked once.
Yeah. Yeah.
He absolutely killed Roseanne.
Yeah, he did. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
He was considered a suspect in her case, and he was the last person to see her before she disappeared. Imagine. He refused to cooperate with the police, and that was just pretty much the end of it.
God.
As Roseanne's brother said, she was terrified of him. She'd called him and said that. So he worked construction, Brad did, and so some people believe that he might have put her into the foundation of a building, or had other means to have buried her somewhere. They did reopen her disappearance after her daughter was murdered, but no charges have ever been filed. It never went anywhere. Her family did hold a double memorial service for her and her daughter at the same time. I think the family just felt like they needed some kind of closure at that point.
I mean, at that point, she'd been gone a long time.
Yeah, she'd been gone. She'd already been gone 7 years at this point. But this is why, first of all, she was a human being and had a right to be investigated. And I mean, obviously, her killer was standing right in front of them.
Yeah.
But also, her being gone left this 2-year-old child with this abusive man who 7 years later killed her, obviously had been molesting her before that, and then murdered her.
Yeah.
It's just sick. It makes me really angry. It makes me angry at law enforcement. It makes me angry at our society. That we think
Mhm.
it's okay to allow something like this to go on, and for
Yeah.
so little to be done, so little attempt at all to solve her disappearance
Yeah. These were just
and
looked at
also
like
to protect her child.
yep. Well, to use a phrase I really hate, these were looked at like white trash people, and they didn't really care.
Well, Roseanne was black.
Didn't really care, was she? If
Roseanne was
these
black.
were
Brad was white.
the if these were the, the mayor's children, there would have
Right.
been every effort made. I mean, these
Mhm.
people just they were
Yeah.
low rent. They didn't care. That is so disgusting.
It's a
I
horrifying case.
it
Horrifying.
it was not the serial killer, though I do feel like obviously that was a problem at the time. That was an easy cop out,
Yeah.
to just blame it there. But I really believe that her body was buried. I don't think she's in cement. I wondered about that too, but I don't that doesn't hit for me. I feel like she's buried in dirt in not too far from where her daughter's buried.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have exhumed her and found her if they tried hard enough. That she wasn't that far from there.
Yeah. If somebody had actually cared, they might have found her as well.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I
At
think they
least they
tried
put
hard.
him away for 56 years, which I imagine will probably be life for him.
Yeah,
Um, so at least he can't hurt anybody else. But how unfortunate. I mean, if they had cared at all, the authorities had cared at all to solve
yeah.
her disappearance, that child would not have been exposed
Right.
to this man
She
for
would
all
have
those
been
years, and
placed in a
she'd
safe
be,
home,
yeah,
which, by the way, would not have been his parents' home
no,
because they enabled the hell out of him.
yeah,
And
that's
I
that's
wouldn't be
definitely my
surprised. I
impression
feel
too.
like they may do know what happened to Roseanne, that,
Hmm.
they've enabled his shit for his whole life.
Yeah,
And this is just more of the same.
it is. It is. Yeah, I agree with that. It feels very much like they have just enabled him all his life, and
Yeah.
I mean, he was molesting her and killed her under their roof.
Yep.
You can't tell me they didn't know something.
Yeah. No, they did.
Yeah,
They
just
did.
sick.
Dad was just totally turned off and oblivious, not oblivious, but just didn't want anything to do with any of it. Mom was actively cleaning up his messes, making excuses for him,
Yeah.
just, yep, that's who they were.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I thank you for that read on that. That's where I went with it as well. I don't think it was a big stretch to know
That's
who
what
killed
sucks
her.
about it is that this is exactly what it looks like. There's no twist here.
Mm-mm,
It was
none.
him. And this was over her wanting to move. I feel like
Yeah.
she had finally told him that she was planning on moving and wanted to get out of there. And I feel like there was some question with her whether she could take Valerie or if she couldn't,
Hmm.
but she was going to try. I feel like she kind of thought she might end up actually having to leave her there for a few years, but she was going to try. And so she had posed that to him that she was planning on moving closer to her brother. She had to get out of there and needed a fresh start and that she
Now, I
wanted to
will
take
tell you,
Valerie with
she's
her.
got 3 other kids, and I
Yeah.
don't know where they are. Nothing that I read on this
Mhm.
addresses the fact that there are other children. I don't
Dads.
know what
I
happened to them.
feel like there's 2 other dads and that they all ended up with dads or grandparents.
Mm,
I mean, she had a rough time. She did.
mhm, she did. But did she deserve this? No,
Of course not. Yeah.
absolutely not. Yeah.
No.
Well, this one just really lit a fire under me. I knew it would you too.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want us to take on in the next while here on the show are some of the missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's the
Yes.
same concept that
Mhm.
the authorities don't give a damn about these cases,
No.
about these people, about these human beings. And,
Right.
this case I think is a great illustration of those kinds of situations. And
Mhm.
I feel like maybe we can give a voice to some more of these kinds of cases.
Absolutely. Well, and it's a mess because what's happening is that we have all of these men coming into work on reservations, working in construction or working in oil,
Yeah.
and or they come to towns that are very near reservations. They come onto the res and they commit a crime, like raping and killing women, which has just been rampant in
Yeah.
Indigenous women. And the reservation police have very few resources and have absolutely not had the help. They haven't had the federal government's support in helping them to get
Right.
involved
And the feds
in these
need to be
cases.
involved.
And that actually, Trump signed a bill, I don't know, about a year ago to help address this.
Mm.
It was kind of flowery,
Yeah, it
not a
was
lot of
more of a,
teeth in it.
we're
Yeah.
gonna work on this, but it wasn't a really give
Yeah.
anybody any power or money to work on it kind of
Right.
situation.
But what I'm reading is that there's a reform coming to that bill that's really going to, or it was an executive order, I think, actually. But
Mm.
anyway, then there was a bill signed from that did put some teeth in it. So
Good,
anyway,
good.
there's supposed to be some help coming on that front. But yeah, in the meantime, so many missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and the people who do it are just coming into town, working for a little while, committing a crime like this, and then just waltzing off into the sunset because there's no resources to find out who did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I think that covering those cases is really important. I also think all of us demanding change, keeping an eye on these cases and on these things and being a part of the solution as far as demanding better legislation and better support is really, really important to
Yeah,
get a handle on this.
it is. It is. Well, and actually, so Valerie's uncle,
Mhm.
so this was Roseanne's sister. Wait. Oh,
Roseanne's
wait.
brother.
Valerie's uncle and Roseanne's sister, they spearheaded the Valerie Jackson Act, that would impose stricter penalties for the murder of children, and so they did get involved. Her
Good.
family got involved, but it was, on the part of the child, which, not
Yeah,
that this wasn't a horrible thing, but, the child case got attention, got cared
right.
about.
Yeah.
But what about Roseanne? You know?
Roseanne also didn't deserve this and deserved
No.
her death to be solved. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, still does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we took this one on. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to give any of these cases a signal boost. And recently I said that on the show, and one of you guys asked, what does a signal boost mean? Well, a signal
Mhm.
boost is just that, putting more energy, more attention into a case, getting more people talking about it.
Yep.
Anytime we can elevate a case that deserves a more of a light of day, maybe with the right person, you know.
Yeah, you just never know. True crime podcasts have solved crimes before,
Oh,
just from people
absolutely.
hearing some information that makes them think of something that they didn't remember before or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's really, it's not just that we, enjoy the stories and the covering of this and empathy for the victims, and it is also, elevating cases like this to help to get them solved. The more people talk about them,
Mhm.
the more attention they have, the more likely they are to get some of the right attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our offering for today. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for being here with us. And of course, check out our new website, truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com. Everything is there. And if you want to suggest some cases to us, please do that through the forum there. We really enjoy doing the cases that you recommend, and we try to get to as many of them as we can.
You bet.
So thanks for being
Awesome.
here with us. We are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Take care.